Folks, hello and welcome to Gamers Health. I am Rach Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. With me is my lovely wife, Rach.
Eh,
By the way, she's put up with me for 11 years.
yeah, and
Well,
he's put up with me for 11 years. It's
it's it,
our anniversary
it's our
today.
anniversary. And hanging out in the background, if you look over my shoulder, is none other than Sadie, our,
Sadie.
our marmalade tabby. So she's having a good time. She's been enjoying us. Now it's our anniversary. Uh, we went out and we did an anniversary lunch, I guess.
Yeah.
But it also was kind of like intermittent fasting, which we don't necessarily do, but
Because we usually stop eating by midnight, like with a snack or whatever.
yeah. And then
And then, like, we went,
breakfast is usually around like 10:30,
yeah.
11 o'clock.
So we ate at 2 o'clock today. So we went from 12 to 2.
Yeah.
So I guess that was a 14-hour
Intermittent fast.
Yeah.
So we're not saying we're going to keep with that, not saying it's going to be a habit.
It was interesting to try on.
Yeah. So
Every now and again, yeah.
yeah. So let's see. We're going to work with the updates first. And of course, Halloween was this past week. So I'm sure some of you have young kids or didn't have enough young kids come by and you have an abundance of candy, but we'll discuss that. But I started Munjaro. I can't. I swear to God, medications have the most made-up names you're ever gonna find. Jardians, Farziga, Munjaro, Brylant. They all there to try to evoke something, and I think that as gamers, we could do a lot better at naming some of this shit. I really think that they should be hiring. The pharmaceutical industry should be hiring members of the gaming community to name their mixed medications.
Hey, you guys come up with some names of creatures and
I think we do a lot better.
Names are great. Yeah,
because it rarely has anything to do with the scientific name of the product in question.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Ozempic, Ozempic. Oh, I hope I get a copyright strike for saying that. So Monjaro or whatever.
Yes, you have it.
Is essentially Ozempic going to 11. It does what Ozempic does, including the studies are out there. Apparently, it protects the heart. As somebody who has heart failure, that is awesome. As many layers I can get to protect my heart, 2 thumbs up. So, and by the way, Shadow, if we didn't say hello.
Hello.
But here's the thing. We didn't go to the Poconos last week because when I got the medication, I was like, well, I got it from the doctor's office. I'm going to start it when we get back. It can have all these side effects, all these potentially horrible side effects, including gastrointestinal issues. We can all figure out where that would go. Heartburn, nausea.
A lot of GI problems. And so he didn't want to be like on the road or, just
stuck somewhere feeling.
If
I'm going to feel nauseous, let me feel nauseous in my own home, with my own amenities around me.
Yes.
So I've been on it now for, I guess, 9.5 days. And I will say it does have effects. There are effects to it. And I've been told by somebody who has been taking it, they're in the gaming community. They actually hang out on sometimes on our Thursday night Discord hangouts. That part of the solution or part of the way to protect yourself from those side effects is to eat smaller meals.
Mm-hmm.
So now what I have found in the first part, nausea wasn't the first couple of days, but then it started hitting like off and on. It wasn't strong nausea.
How is it now? It feels like your second injection because you had your second injection.
I had my second injection
Thursday. It seems like it's not been as pronounced.
No, I swear to God,
that's adaptation response.
Right. So the nausea, when I did get the nausea, it wasn't intense. It was the kind of nausea where if you were doing something, if your mind was occupied, you didn't even notice. It's when you stopped doing something that your mind kind of opened up and you go, oh, I think I feel a little bit nauseous. And that's the kind of nausea that you can generally deal with. So, but I did find, and I still find, I get heartburn. Okay. So, and a lot of times it might not hit me if I'm standing up, but the moment I lay down to go to bed, your stomach, and you get the stomach acid. So, Tums has been a good friend. Rach won't eat, by the way. She won't take standard Tums because it tastes like chalk or something like that.
Yeah, it's chalky.
It's chalky. That's the whole. That's why
So
it works so well.
you have to get the ones that
I don't need it. I for you.
Yeah, I always make sure that we get the ones that are like how do you call it? Get Mentos.
Yeah.
They're like the shape of the Mentos, and you.
Yeah. You pop them like candy, but no.
No, I don't. I haven't taken it in a very long time. Not since I changed my eating.
Yeah, but I
haven't had to.
So I have found that the Mounjaro does have an effect. The first week, the effect on my blood sugar was minimal. When I say minimal, it had an effect, and maybe it lowered my blood sugar a few points on average. But what it was mostly doing, which is what I found interesting, it was keeping me from getting the very highs and the very lows. So it was
stabilization.
It was stabilization. Now, after my second shot, I've actually noticed, like today, my average blood glucose is 115, and that includes our going out for an anniversary meal at a nice sit-down Chinese restaurant. I had a half serving of brown rice with my rainbow chicken, which is in like a sweet wine sauce. So not crazy sweet, but it's a tad sweet. Very tasty. So my blood sugar shot up, but then it came down and never hit that 240 point where my alarm went off. So I can see, and right now it's like 150. No, right now it's 95. Right, it was under 100. Yeah. Right before we went in. So yes, I've already seen how it is having an effect. Now, the interesting part about Mounjaro. See, I told you. So they made up names. I just make up my own pronunciations. Maybe. No?
A lot of people do that.
Yeah. So.
And the providers are just like, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Rob, welcome. So, the strange thing about not strange, it's a new branded medication, right? It's not off patent. It just released over the summertime. So it's not covered by insurance. Now I have a 4-week intro to it from my doctor's office at the lowest dosage, and it goes up in doses from I think 2.5 and 2.5 increments until you get to like 15 or something like that. Yeah, it's interesting. So, and my doctor said, "Well, let's see if it's covered by your insurance." It's not covered by my insurance. I have a decent insurance.
Yes,
it's not amazing, all right, but it's decent. So now I was like, "Crap." But then they have the patient assist program, and usually the patient assist is if your commercial insurance covers part of it, they'll cover like everything but like $25. You have a $25 copay. This program is different. They have that, and they also have if you have commercial insurance and it's not covered, they're still going to bring you down to a $25 copay.
Because they need to have that many people out there that are having a positive result from it so that, insurance companies will like see the efficacy, it passed the FDA stuff, but I guess insurance companies are sort of late to, catch on.
Right.
Like they're very conservative, about studies and stuff. And so, when they have a number of people who are doing well on it and having like multiple benefits, that's when they start to cover.
So that means that when the pharmacy actually processes this, they have to process it with my insurance and have my insurance basically say decline.
They need the denial.
They need the denial.
Be able to get the cost support from them.
Right. But that denial is also interesting because then it tells the insurance company that you are taking this medication. It's on their list of the medications that you're taking. I'm going to say a week and a half, not even a week and a half in, that I suspect that this is going to be very beneficial. It's supposed to help you lose weight. It's approved for weight loss and controlling of diabetes. They are working studies that it will be
It's off-label.
right now. It's off-label
Benefit
for
would be the heart disease.
the heart disease.
Sorry, that's the chronic.
Well, no, it protects against hospitalization.
Is that what it's?
Yeah, against hospitalization for heart failure. All these beautiful things, layers upon layers. So, listen, I am somebody. I will be the first to admit it. The idea of getting out of the hospital in May of 2020, and I had this shit ton of medications that I had to start taking. The idea of, oh my God, I got to take all these pills every day. You know what? You take them for 2.5 years. It's a routine.
Yes.
And I will be honest. Do I forget? I think in the last 6 months, I've forgotten my daytime medication once, and nighttime I've probably forgotten 2 or 3 times. Fine, but you have to get into this routine with that. If you don't get into a routine, I mean, and again, when I
like you were prescribed glipizide for years, and you were not ready to incorporate that.
No. So, sometimes you have to get to the cliff, look over the edge, feel that cliff start giving away, and go, oh yeah, no.
I'll behave now.
I'll behave. I'm good. So, I am. Oh God, I am loath to say this, but probably the best thing that happened to me in my adult life, besides marrying Rach and meeting Rach, was actually going, and I'm not blaming TotalCon for this, but going to TotalCon, getting an upper respiratory infection, which led to pneumonia and sepsis, which brought on congestive heart failure, because that heart was damaged from chemo and radiation already. So it wasn't going to be monitored. So I had to have this happen.
The crappy air in the hotel, just blew the whole cap off of the heart disease, the heart failure.
So, it just started everything, and
started the process going.
I've lost weight. I make sure that I get my exercise in. I eat healthier. These are all things that don't be me. Don't be pushed into a corner and then go, oh shit. Before you get to that corner,
no, I have to.
Yeah, before you get put into that corner, reflect. Seriously, that's the way I look at it, and that's one of the hardest things that for any of us to do is it's easier to judge others, offer help to others, offer support to others, than it is to take a hard look at yourself. Robert, yeah, I have a pile of pills, blister packs, coupled with discussing taking pills at morning and night, not midday, and I seldom miss pills. One of the hardest things when I was first released from the hospital, I was also on metformin. And by the way, metformin tore my stomach up, so I'm so glad I'm off that. But metformin was take it with meals twice a day, usually breakfast and dinner. And there are times where you go out and you're eating, you don't have your pill with you, or even at home, you forget. So it's I like the idea of I have my morning pills, I have my night pills, I set them up, and I think I have it's something like this, but I have a double one of these, and it's for morning and night. And I also have one set up with my supplements, my vitamins and stuff, because if I had to pull out pills every morning and every night and make up
oh no,
it would never be true.
That's why Rob gets the blister pack, because they put the pills all in the same blister.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kenny, so true. Hardest person to give advice to is oneself, and it is honestly, because we spend a lifetime lying to ourselves, right? Oh, I'm not that overweight. Oh, I'm not that fat. If I don't look at the scale, I didn't put on weight. Right? When you're losing weight, you want to weigh yourself every day. When you know you're putting on weight, you just avoid the scale. And it's like,
but when you know you haven't been as diligent, maybe like with your exercise during that given week, or that you might have
I'm talking about me
overindulged.
I'm talking about me prior to my congestive heart failure.
Oh, I see the whole like ball of denial.
Yeah,
that
I'm talking about my coming to God moment, right? Yeah, coming to Jesus, Jehovah, Allah, whoever, Krishna, coming to that moment where you look at yourself and you go, okay, if I don't make significant changes in my lifestyle, I am going to be meeting my maker sooner than later. And I think I still have things to give this world. Give this guy, yeah. At the very least, I can annoy Rach for another couple of decades. That's so much easier. Rob, yeah, it's so easy to fix others, but fixing your own problems, what people should work on, except maybe your kids too. Well, listen, I think if you're going to give advice to your kids, you can't be the individual that gives advice that you yourself aren't following.
Right.
All right. That's to anybody, but your kids, you can give advice to friends
because they see every piece of discrepancy that's there.
I mean, you look at our niece Shannon,
right?
And not to get into any details, but this girl observes everything. Mm-hmm. You're getting nothing past this young lady, and if you think you are, you're doing nothing but fooling yourself. Okay, kids in general are much more observant than parents will ever give them credit for. Honest to God. All right? You think you're hiding stuff from that kid? You're not. Excuse me. A little gaseous. But you're not hiding anything from your kids. I mean, my parents, when I was little, and my sister was a tot, they used to sit at the kitchen table, right? And when the conversations had to be had about topics that children should not hear, they would switch it to German. My mother, although she is the second generation born here in her family, like just like a lot of Hispanic families that are here for years, still would keep the language tradition going. So she had a working knowledge of German. She wasn't fluent, but she could have a slow conversation in it. My father was born in Goce, which was a Germanic area of Yugoslavia, had been in Austria until the end of World War One. And they would speak in German at the table. And that worked until, and they were doing this for years. What do kids do? They observe. They don't think I'm listening, but I'm listening. And I learned enough German by listening to my parents speak German at the dinner table to interrupt their conversation in English and say, no, really? That's what's happening with Aunt so-and-so? And then that was it. My German language lessons were done because I observed too well, but that's kids.
My family was not quite like that. Like,
well, you were Irish, right? So I don't think there was. There wasn't Gaelic going along at the
No, there wasn't. No, they weren't speaking Gaelic, and nobody was quiet. It was like.
You had four. There
were 4 kids.
I would say there were 4 kids.
It was 7 years apart. So, by the time I came along, everything was pretty much out there, and you knew, this one got in trouble at school. This one needs to see a psychiatrist. This one.
There's no secrets in the Griffin family. Right? Nothing.
I mean, there's plenty of stuff that is not for public consumption, but yes.
But I mean, but that's just that's part of it. When it comes to our children, like with Shannon, she's our goddaughter. We see her once or twice a week. We take her out after school. We have good conversations she has with us. She's blunt and honest because we are blunt and honest with her. Yeah. And I'm talking with her, and I'm listening to her and catching her observations, and I go, "Wow, she's 11 going on 12," and I forget that I was probably very similar at 11 going on 12.
Yeah.
As adults, we don't give the children, especially like the preteens, credit for the amount of knowledge that they observe, that they bring in. And they're not necessarily old enough to process it all as an older teen would, or a young adult, or an adult, but they're still bringing that knowledge in.
Well, they're funny because the tweens will, pretend that they know because they don't want to be caught off guard not knowing. And so
I'm going to go through the motions.
Yes, that they'll.
Yeah.
They have enough to be able to pretend a certain knowledge, but then,
right.
Knowing, and then there's like a certain knowing conceptual, and then there's another knowing emotionally, and they sort of lack that emotional knowledge. And
so that's that whole aspect of being able to look at yourself. And again, if you're going to give your children advice, remember, they know more about you than you'll ever suspect. You better be honest. You better not. What's the thing? You better not blow smoke up their ass, because they'll know if you are. And they're not going to.
Like I said, they can point out every single discrepancy that you show that you might not even be aware of in your behavior and actions. Your words and your accents, like they can.
It's like it's consistency.
You say this, but you do
that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like being a good dungeon master or GM, right? If there's discrepancies in how you're presenting stuff, your players are going to go, "Oh no, wait, that wasn't how this store was last week. No, last week he had X, Y, and Z. What changed?" They're going to catch you. If your players are going to catch you on stuff like that in game, you don't think your kids are going to catch you? They have an easier job, trust me.
Yeah.
And they're paying a lot more attention than your players are. Believe me on that one too. So now, normally, it's our Shadow. Yes, that is so true. That's my son to a T. Of course, it's how my son was when we were younger. He just had to grow up a bit faster because he lost his mother just before he was 14. So that took a kid that was adjusting to being a teenager, and then all of a sudden he felt he's responsible for his grandmother who was suicidal. So the growth spurt meant that certain parts didn't grow up at the same time.
Right.
Happy anniversary to you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now, I was going to mention, normally, we went out to a very good sit-down Chinese food restaurant out in Cross Bay Boulevard here in Queens. A place called Danny's if you're in the area. Very good food, very good service. So normally, though, it's our anniversary. We were married 11 years ago. We had a reception at the Grandstand Pub, our local pub, and we would normally be there or have been there today. And generally speaking, we've been going there. Now it's like twice a week. We go there for football on Sundays, and we go there on Tuesday nights. We have a bartender we really, really get along with very well. We made a good friendship there, and just good company. It's community, or it was community. So we got there this past Sunday for football. We're walking up, and the place is rocking. You're not hearing a football game. You're hearing Irish songs and classic country and classic rock. Yeah. And we walk in, it's like, oh my God, it's packed. Oh, good for them, right? Good for the pub. They're packed. Great to see. They're doing good business.
And then I'm like, oh, but there's more family members.
Right. So then there's a lot of family. I thought family members maybe.
Did somebody pass away?
Well, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, so we didn't.
Somebody leaving to go back to Ireland, like that kind of stuff.
So we're there, and we're there for probably about an hour and a half, watching football from the corner. What I call the child seats, because you have the bar with all the bar stools, and you have the corner that's a bit raised.
A platform.
Yeah. And one of our friends, known locally as John the Greek, because he's John and
he's Greek.
He's Greek, so I mean, I know the nicknames that you get at a pub are just so damn fucking accurate. And he, in his, I don't want to say, Mr. Gunn, welcome. Thank you. Uh, he tells us that this is the last day for the pub that's closing, and I was like, I didn't want to believe him, so I was kind of like, you know, made my saving throw. I disbelieved, or I was like, oh, John drunk. What the hell is he know?
And then unfortunately, I absolutely believed it. I was like, damn, that is so. Well, good thing they ripped the Band-Aid off quick.
Yeah. So then we overhear Mark, as the son of the owner or the prior owner, John Brown, passed early this year, and Mark is talking to others and explaining that he couldn't keep it running, and he was very, really upset him. And I was like, oh, geez, it's true. And then we got to talk to Mark, and Mark explained that basically it was an electric bill that they had paid a $75,000 electric bill off that they didn't know about.
And then Con Ed comes and says, oh, we misassessed that. You owe us 18 grand more. They shouldn't have paid the 75. They should have somehow negotiated it down.
Yeah, so
and then they won't come looking.
Yeah, so there was that 18,000 was it. That meant that it was done. So what should have been us at the pub for a couple of hours meant that we were at the pub for
many hours.
We didn't close it.
No.
No. But so our last walk home from the pub on Monday. But we did get together with friends at the pub that we always knew, and everybody was exchanging phone numbers.
We made a Grandstand Refugee Club, and we just took it down to Gibbons home.
Gibbons home. And so Gibbons is a 10-minute bus ride, probably a 25-minute walk from the house. And then in the summertime, during the daytime, I would walk it back and forth.
Yes.
And have a great time doing so.
Even in the fall, you can walk down.
But we went up there on Tuesday night. Had a very good time. We were there with two of our old bartenders. One of our favorite patrons that we spend a lot of time on Tuesdays with. Saw another regular that we've known for years because he lives halfway between the two locations and is transitioning, I guess. But, pubs become your community center, and the Grandstand was open just short of 35 years, I believe.
Yes.
It is it's a huge community place. But when I was a kid, this neighborhood supported, and I'm going to try to count that out in my head, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5, maybe 6 pubs within 10 minutes walking distance. Now we've got one within 10 minutes on the other side of Queens Boulevard. And Rach, how has it been described as to us? I've been there a couple of times. In the daytime.
It was described to us
at nighttime. At nighttime.
Oh, only at night?
Yeah.
Oh, they described it as the cantina from Star Wars.
Which
and the reason being because you have a lot of space cadets from all over the place.
Mr. Gunn, here's the thing with commercial electricity in New York City. It is not built like a residential house is. Now, I knew from, not quite 20 years ago, probably 15 years ago, when I was working in the NYPD, I had a detective whose wife, and I say wife, it was his wife, but as a uniform member of the NYPD, you cannot be an owner or work in a licensed establishment such as a bar or such. So it was in his wife's name. I didn't ask too many questions. I just didn't want to know. So I remember him bitching and complaining that one month they had a $5,000 electric bill. And then he realized that $4,000 to $5,000 was going to be the average electric bill. It was pretty much on par with the rent I think they were paying for that location or close to it.
Mm.
So now, for a while, the Grandstand actually had basically the equivalent of 2 storefronts. They had the adjacent location with an opening, and that was the party room. That was the spillover for the big holidays for the restaurant, all that stuff. They closed that during COVID and gave up the rent on that. So I don't know if for that initial $75,000 bill, if they closed things off, but they were still getting hit with the bill. I do know that the initial bill was paid off with 9/11 COVID money, COVID relief funds, but there's no COVID relief funds to pay that next 18.5. So it's upsetting. Again, we have lots of memories from there.
Yeah, every milestone for family, for our son, birthdays and anniversaries and all that.
Yeah, I mean, my son did a lot. My son kind of grew up in the village there, right? I mean, I would go in and go, oh, Chris was here. Like, oh, he had his chocolate cake. He'd go down there before he was 21 and order soda and chocolate cake, and he wouldn't let them serve him until he was 21. So I'm very proud of my kid for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it not like he wasn't drinking, all right? Just that he wasn't drinking in a situation where he could get somebody in trouble, aside from himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know if solar panels would have helped in this location, Mr. Gunn. And I say that only because it's New York City, so you're gonna get a lot less sun in the winter months, and that's I know summer you get your AC, and it could have offset a bit of that, but I don't think it's not one of those locations. New York City is not a city built for solar panels. Most buildings aren't,
especially older.
Yeah, it's an older building.
Yeah.
So. Really,
cool,
cops' wives, spouses couldn't work in a bar. Bugsy Siegel would roll in his grave. New York, it's a New York City or New York State rule. I'm not sure which it is. So, all right. So, long story, a little background on this one. At one point, somebody did drop a proverbial dime and sent an undercover to the location to see if the detective in question was working there. And who was at the door when the undercover came there but the detective in question, who knew the undercover was an undercover because they knew each other from the job. So the job sent the wrong person, and long story. That's a long story, screwed up, but yeah. In the end, the detective did get bounced, and his car got firebombed.
What?
And yeah, and in front of he got sent to Viper rates, but Viper is our
oh, really?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
In which project?
In Brooklyn somewhere.
Oh,
he got sent to Viper, which is
it's a room with a bunch of cameras in it, and it basically
it's a bunch of TV sets, monitors in it to
watches
a bunch of cameras in housing.
Watches the New York City Housing Authority buildings.
Yeah, so he was sent there, full duty, gun and shield.
Oh wow!
So I think his car got firebombed by others in Viper who thought he was being sent there to spy on them. I think.
By his own.
Because he came from IAB. So
that's some crazy shit.
Yeah. Kenny remembers when it was the Gaslight Tavern. God, I am old. Yeah. So I did ask for one favor. Again, our bartender was helping close the place down and pack stuff up. And I did say to her, I go, Michelle, there was a placard and it says JC's
Action Room.
And I said, I believe that
was for Captain Jack, and they took it down after he passed away.
Yeah, or they put it up after he passed, and it was maybe in the corner where he always was. And I just said, listen, his sons are friends of mine. These are my old gaming group. which again brings everything full circle.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, listen, if it's still there and if none of the family members are attached to it, can you snag it? I go, that's all I'm asking for. I'm not going to say, give me some taps. I love them, but I didn't ask for that. I said, that's what I want because I want to give it to the kids. And God bless her. Yesterday morning, I get a text message like, I'm outside your door, I think. Come and get it. And I was like, wow. So that's the kind of people that I want to keep in my life.
Yes.
You know, that's what you want to keep. Mr. Gunn's doing some jokes there. So, did you meet Ms. Rachel at work or in the tavern? Okay. Rachel and I actually met on Match.com.
Mm-hmm.
And we met when I was done looking and caring. And Rach was pretty much she gave it a shot in the dark. And we went through I would say the fairly typical, I guess, if you meet online, which was communicate through the system. Then what did we go to email next or text messages next?
Email, then text, then the phone.
Email. Actually, I think it was email, and then I think it was like instant messenger.
That thing, yes.
It was, right, and then we got to the phone, and then none other than Mr. Kenny, who's been commenting here, my oldest friend, said, "Hey, you should, you know what? You should probably for your first date, you should go to a comedy club. Because what's the problem with going to the movies? You don't talk. What's the problem with going to a coffee shop? All you do is talk." Right? So it was a very, very good.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you for that suggestion.
Yes,
because we had a great time.
We did.
We went to a comedy club.
We went to a comedy club, and what was great about it, and Rach, you could probably tell this better than I could, but we met on the street right in front of the place, and we go in, we get our seats at the table, and you know how they work the crowd. Well, they work the crowd, and then they get to me, and they ask me what I do for a living. And Rach, what did you say?
Well, I didn't say anything. He said, "Oh, you look like you're an accountant."
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "That's right."
And I was just like,
and I didn't volunteer anything of mine because he was only on him.
Right.
You know? So it's yeah, you're totally right, an accountant.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh God. And then I realized I think I have the right woman. Because she's not giving my job up. And listen, I'm not saying it. Actually, some of the comedians were lackluster. I couldn't tell you a single joke from that night. All right. All I know is that we had a good time. We went out to McSorley's afterwards.
Oh yeah. You had to pass the McSorley's test.
All right. So for those who aren't New Yorkers, McSorley's is a famous bar in Lower Manhattan.
It's one of the oldest pubs in the city.
And in this case, they only serve 2 types of beer.
Light and dark.
They come in like 10-ounce glasses, or maybe 8-ounce glasses, and you generally get one of each. And the only
if you're 2 people together, you're like 2 light, 2 dark,
right? But they basically serve it in pairs, and the only food they offer, Rach, you can explain this better than I can.
So they have a cheese plate, and
it's Cracker Barrel cheese, probably. And
yeah, I used to put Ben through this test all the time. Like, they have a really great cheese plate. Oh, that place doesn't Zagat recommend it. And I'm like, no, but the cheese plate is really good. And then it was always funny to watch their facial expression when the bartender would come up with a block of the sliced Cracker Barrel thrown on the table with like onion that's sliced, and then he'd come and he'd like give you saltines.
Yeah. And what was my reaction, Rach? Was I phased?
No, you were good with it.
I was like, oh, look, I love onions. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Mr. Gunn, we met for lunch at a local restaurant. I knew she was the right one because she knew what schmutz was. There you go.
Nice.
That sounds like a New Yorker.
Yep.
2 queens pints of different types of beer. I mean, you don't go to McSorley's because you want a large selection of different beers. You go to McSorley's because
you don't go there for cocktails. You're going there to drink the beer.
Yeah, or have shots. You know, you're not gonna go. Excuse me, can I have?
Yeah, like shots of Jameson or whatever.
Yeah. Don't go too far off the.
Yeah, don't get too fancy now. Don't get too bougie.
Yeah, like can I get a Manhattan? Can I get a? No, you can't. No.
That's an old lady drink anyway.
Yeah, well, you never know.
A smoked old fashioned, please.
Oh, jeez. Stop, Rachie, stop.
Like the pretentious one. Like, not to say people. Never mind.
That's okay. So now, one thing I found very interesting about Gibbons Home is that they have a selection of taps which aren't your standard taps. Yes, you have Guinness, but they also had Hofbrau. They had a cider. What was it called again? It was a cider from up in like New Hampshire or something like that. It was a very nice cider. They had
oh my god,
and they had the same cider in cans with ginger.
Yes. Oh my god, what was that even called?
Well, heck, they had ginger beer on the
they
soda
had
tap.
Goslings on the soda tap.
So I mean, definitely a special place.
Yes.
And they have a nice outdoor space, which can be used too, and it felt like a home. Not quite our home yet.
Right.
But it certainly felt
very comfortable.
Yep. Mr. Gunn, I should be in the Northeast. I get them. They get me. Instead, I live in the South. They don't get me, and I don't get them. Fair enough. Too many beer is too much of a pain. Too few, and you get Bud or Bud Light. I remember when our, God rest its soul, our local pub gotten like Goose Island. I was like, oh my god, you're getting fancy schmancy here. Yeah, they were getting Blue Point.
In Brooklyn.
Yeah. So, but after my congestive heart failure, I would usually do Coors Light on tap, but occasionally I go, can I get a splash of Goose Island? Just a splash to give you a little bit of that extra hops and flavor without getting all those carbs.
Yeah.
So now part of our decision because of the demise of our local pub is that, again, we used to go twice a week. We bring it down. It's a bit of a trip. We'll bring it down to once a week. Now that's going to have, I guess in a weird way, a positive effect because although we didn't eat poorly when we went out there on Sundays for football, we're going to eat a lot better and a lot cleaner here. We're probably going to overnight defrost some chicken. We'll
make some barbecue chicken pieces.
Yes. To nibble on.
We have special chips that we can use to put nachos for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
To have during the football.
So, and I picked up a 12-pack of Corona Premier, which is 2.6 carbs, I believe, per bottle, 90 calories. I think it tastes better. I
have no interest in it.
No, I know, but I picked up my limes. To me, it tastes better than Corona Light. It's got less carbs. So now I'm going to be controlling, literally what I drink. And I'm not going to be in a position where it's like, oh, well, and I just got 2 rounds bought for me. And you stop when you're ready to stop, as opposed to sometimes you're like, all right, can I give away one of these?
Yeah, the pub it's always been a rounds culture. And that's the reason why when I wasn't drinking on given days, it would just be, no, I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
So that this way it wasn't just like continual rounds coming.
Right. So, Mr. Gunn, what is your opinion of the IPA craze? Well, here's the thing. Before I retired, Rach and I had found a local brewery that we actually enjoyed going out to.
Fun.
Called Finback. and Finback didn't have food. It just had beers on tap, or you could get
You could order too there with menus and
right,
whatnot.
or you could get. We would often go with
We always got
Five Guys,
Five Guys, yeah, burgers and that.
and we would just drive it over with that.
Yum.
And then you could take beers to go, and their beers were good, and a lot of them were IPAs, but they were using a lot of the more
Citrusy.
esoteric hops. So you get very piney sometimes.
Oh, that's true.
I think here's my opinion of IPAs. IPAs are great if you want to drink a beer and not drink to intoxication, because on IPA I'm probably done around 2.5. Because I get my mouth gets a bit too bitter. There are some that are very
right. It probably ends up tasting soapy.
Yeah. So and that's one of the reasons actually why if I am going to limit my drinking, I will drink beer, because usually around somewhere between 3 and 4 beers, even beers I really enjoy. It could be a Sam Adams Summer or like Blue Moon. Or now that Blue Moon has out
Light Sky.
Light Sky. Light Sky is the light version. It's very tasty. If you like Blue Moon, you'll probably like Light Sky. I still find that around 3 or 4 beers, they start not tasting right. My taste buds start to get overwhelmed, and even these beers start tasting bitter, which is a good way to kind of self-control yourself. If you're, it's like, oh well, now I'm gonna stop. If I sit down at the pub and I'm having wine, first off, my experience is, and Rachel, I can have wine and not feel it until I stand up, and then I stand up and I go. Whereas with beer, you've got that self-regulating get up.
Yeah.
You got to go to the bathroom at some point, and then you're like, all right, I'm already feeling it. But beer I lose taste for. Wine I don't lose taste for, and that's dangerous. Yeah. So at least I know that when beer starts tasting like eh. Now that being said, if I'm not saying when, but if I'm hanging out at one of these locations, and it winds up being like a 9-hour, well, it wasn't quite 9. A 7-hour day, I find that I'm pacing myself to the point where it doesn't get bitter, because I'm drinking a beer in an hour and a half, or whatever it is. It's not going fast. But, I don't know. IPAs are self-regulating. Some of them are horrible. I will say that. Some of them, you want to have one, and then you want to go to something lighter. Like a Goose Island, delicious, on tap, delicious. We first had it at Tobacon.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is a good beer. And after 2 of them, I was like, wow, I can't, I don't.
Yeah,
want it.
They're too filling too.
Kind of like Guinness, but Guinness is a taste that I've never fully acquired. So I can pour one, but I'm not really much on drinking one. I know, and I learned how to pour Guinness by observing how it was done, and then stepping, not even behind the bar, just stepping up to the bar and pouring it from the other side for a bartender who she could not figure out how to pour Guinness.
And she was Irish.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, well, I do happen to like Pilsners. Like I said, our new watering hole actually has. Hey, Shannon just wished us a happy anniversary, you all.
Aw, thank you.
But that was via the phone, so I'll have to.
Oh, it was on the Discord. Oh,
no,
on the text.
It's via text. But they have Hofbrau on tap. That to me is a sign of awesomeness. Actually,
they had a Hofbrau that
was a light beer.
I think it was a white beer, but it was also like a low carb.
Yeah, low carb. White, low carb.
In a blue and white can.
Like six carbs.
Yeah, and they look big.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to have to try that next time. Yeah, the local brewers, there are a few in New York. The problem with Finback was parking. Was just
that was unfortunate, because it was a fun to go there.
Actually, my game plan upon retirement was to go to a bunch of these breweries, and I never did that. Yeah, the piney ones. I don't like the piney ones.
It depends on what it's with. I mean, I
Yeah.
like the piney ones with the piney hops with tea.
Mr. Gunn says about 2 drinks is his limit at any time.
Oh.
Guinness is my idea of a bad beer.
Oh.
If I'm in the right mood, I can enjoy a Guinness, but I have to be in that mood. I have to be in that mindset, and I'm usually not.
Well, it's a lot too. It's like if you want to eating in Guinness kind of
Yeah, Guinness is a meal.
Yeah.
Pilsners, Weiss beers, ales. I like ales. Yeah, I'll definitely go with the Pilsners, the Weiss beers,
Yeah,
the Hefeweiss. Oh, well, like I said, I have Corona Premier, waiting in the fridge.
Pilsner.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's a Pilsner. Yes. The Hefeweiss. Shadow and Sun, happy anniversary, and many, many more. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, that's again 11 years, and today was a beautiful day, by the way.
Yeah, it's funny. Like our wedding was on a Saturday those years ago, and it was like this type of weather here, like which we don't often get at this time of year. Yes, this is the 70s today, so yeah, that was just like that day, like where you can have your dress on and not have to put jackets or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful day. And it's going to be nice for a couple of days, and then I'm sure it's going to get...
I think I saw rain coming up somewhere.
Well, good. The car can use a little cleaning of the bird poop.
Yeah, man.
Don't park under the pooping tree. Just a tree right in front of my house. This time of the season, it's a lot of birds. We are at 11 years. And when I said it to people go, only 11 years? First marriage for both of us.
Yeah, we met.
So, and it's rare.
We were over 40 when we got married.
Yeah.
I was just 40.
Yeah, I was 44. And I wasn't going to settle, you know.
Me either.
And then I met this young lady, and I was like, and I guess if you haven't heard the story, we will relay the story because it's certainly apropos. My son Chris, who, God, he's
29.
I'm about to say 28. I think that's wrong. He's 29. He was, I guess, 17 at the time, maybe still 16.
16, I think.
And he's not my son by blood. He is my ex-girlfriend's son, but he became my son when we were dating. I became his father. So once we broke up as a couple, I still had Chris on the weekend. She understood. She was happy. Chris was happy. She passed. He was just short of 14. So when Rachel and I started dating, Chris was used to having me to himself. You know, he wasn't used to sharing, and he was going to do his best to be the annoying individual. And he tried that for a little while, and it didn't work. Because if he tried to play annoying music, Rachel would sing along to it because she was a social worker and heard it all. She knew what she was dealing with, and not only did she win him over, Chris decided I was taking too long. Now, this is around the same time my father had the conversation with me. He was like, what are your intentions with Rachel? I go, what do you mean? Don't wait too long. What are you talking about, Pop? Don't wait too long. You wait too long, you're going to fuck this up. I'm like, all right. Understood. And Chris, maybe Chris and my father had a discussion. Was what did Chris text you, Rach?
So the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I got a text at work with him asking what my ring size was. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of wanted to go that way. That works. So I sent it to him, no questions asked.
And then Chris goes to me, Here, and he gives me a little piece of paper. I go, what's this? He goes, it's Rachel's ring size. I go, huh? He goes, well, apparently you weren't going to ask for it, so somebody had to do it. I guess so now get to it. So when we got married, Chris was best man.
Yeah.
Which was an amazing thing. He was also our chauffeur on a mini moon. That's a whole other story. But we couldn't say no because he so much wanted to do this. And he just saw it as a favor because he was 18. He had his license. And Kenny, your mother. Because Kenny's like, Eric hasn't been happier or more content since he has been with Rach. That's true.
Aww, thank you.
But Kenny, your mother chewed Chris out. She's like,
why are you there? You don't think they want some time alone? Just very point blank.
Yeah. And we took it for the gesture that it was. And figured we got a lifetime ahead of us. We can allow Chris to be part of this because he was investing in us.
Mm.
You know, and I think that is and was huge. And Rach is such an important part of his life, and he's an important part of our life. And and also, as he said when we got married, I signed the damn paperwork. What was I thinking? Because he was a witness.
Oh, right, at the church.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Gunn, your bride and you are going on 20. Congratulations.
Sweet.
Yeah, once you get one on the hook, you better start reeling her in. Yeah, you know, especially when you got a good one on the hook. By the way, Sadie is still hanging out behind us.
She doesn't want to miss me coming over there.
No.
She's like, you're not getting out of this room without feeding me.
Rach,
I want my special treat.
Yes,
she gets a kitty cat Go-Gurt that you press up.
Yeah, it's like a squeeze.
Squeeze up treat.
A squeezy tube. Ken, yeah, dear old mom. Yep. Yep. She did not hold back, and you know what? Chris took it in stride. He didn't care. Really.
I think he hung up on her.
Yeah, well, like I say, he took it in stride. It wasn't like he got the person went, oh, I'm to put me on. I go.
No, you're just like, I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. If they didn't want me here, they would have said so. Mr. Gunn, my wife and I, we never make anniversary plans anymore because it always ends with some outside circumstance ruining our plans. Our plans were pretty much waking up today going,
what are we gonna do?
We're gonna go to Danny's? Yeah, Danny's sounds like a good place to go.
Yeah, we recorded there or prima pasta, but prima pasta is too many carbs.
Too many carbs is
too
right.
Heavy.
Yeah, I mean, so talking about carbs, right here, I'm gonna check my blood glucose just to, because again, I had, wow, so
85.
Gonna
have to feed you soon.
Yeah, that's okay. After the cast, I'm good for now.
Mm-hmm.
But I can definitely see the Mounjaro is having a positive effect on my blood sugar, and it is keeping me there. I guess in the summertime, I was getting very swingy, and I was swinging high, and then I would swing low, and I could hit like 250, 260, and then 6 hours later, my alarm would be going off in the other direction as I'm lying in bed because I'm going below 70.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what goes up has to come down, and then if it's that high, the lows are going to be lower.
No, so Mounjaro seems to be lowering the highs and raising the lows.
Yes.
So definitely good. Yeah, Chris is a good lad. That is Ken, you're spot on. I mean, and he's good despite a lot of the hardships that he had to go through at a young age. You know, it's just it shows his strength of character. Is he perfect? No child is perfect. Okay, no parent is perfect. I know I was not the perfect parent because I wasn't ready to. I went from being vice president where nobody gave a shit what I said. All right, except for the few times it's like, oh, I'm the only parent here. I'm making a decision to. Holy shit, I'm the only parent. Oh my God. It's all on me now, and it's like, and my parents. I got to give my parents a lot of credit.
Yeah.
They stepped in. They had a deal. I'm at work. They're dealing with the kid who's like, f the world. I'm going out.
Yeah.
But no, it all came out well. Uh, oh, okay. Mr. Gunn, his father had the Whipple procedure. No spleen, no pancreas, no gallbladder. So he has to take insulin.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't, when I got released from the hospital in May of 2020, I was initially prescribed long-term and short-term insulin, and they didn't prescribe the pens, which would have been a lot easier. They of course prescribed the vials, and you had to get. Oh my god!
Yeah.
It was not fun. Thankfully, family friend actually happens to be Chris's fiance. Um, had her insulin changed to a new one. She had a whole backlog of current and good pens for the same. I guess it was Humalog.
Yeah.
And I was able to switch over to pens within like a week for the main, for the 4 times a day insulin, and then the once a day was the long term was still in a vial. And once I started seeing my endocrinologist, he put me on pens for all, and then got me off the short term, and then he weaned down my long term, and then he put me on Jardians. And I would still be on Jardians if my prescription coverage hadn't changed. But for Farziga, again, another. Farziga sounds like a big bad guy. And now,
what?
Big bad evil guy, Farziga. And you come into the throne room, and Farziga is sitting on his throne. Oh my God, no, not Farziga. Yes, Farziga. So now I'm on Farziga, which is equivalent of pretty much of Jardians and has a lot of the same effects and benefits. Mr. Gunn, I gotta lose some weight. I am on the edge, but I hate exercise. I'm assuming that's what you tried to type. Yeah, hate to exercise. We all
exercise is really hard.
Especially
if you don't have that much experience with it. So when you start sweating and panting, you're like, holy shit. This is what it's supposed to be like. People take enjoyment out of this. And then like you keep doing it and somehow you're like, okay, I guess I can kind of see it. Because I do feel better when I do it.
Yes. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't do this as often as I should. I have to get back into doing it. Especially now that we're not going to be doing all the long walks that we've been doing because of the good weather. It's going to change. We're not going to have the opportunities to do these walks. VR, oh God, it used to be, I guess, the Meta headset.
I'll ask Alice about the treadmill. She can recommend.
Yeah, because when I play racquetball with my friend Zach Laser, and
because we shouldn't stop walking.
No, which is great, but there's also full exercise things that get you moving. Where I get my heart rate up, and you sweat, and you're in pain sometimes for a day or two because you move muscles you don't normally move, and stuff like that is awesome. When you don't, and if you're gonna work out, all right, do it in front of a TV set. Do it with music playing. Don't do it with just no distractions because you need. I need a distraction when I'm exercising.
Oh, I love doing it. It's like you want the music to be around where you want your heart rate to be during the exercise. Like you can get certain playlists that will be more high energy for when you're doing things that are faster, things where you want your heart rate increased. And I like doing that. So,
Mr. Gunn, the politicians are letting these pharma companies get away with murder. I understand the need to make money off this. The reality is, if you're charging $1,000 a month for a prescription, nobody's paying that out of pocket.
No.
All right. So really, you're not charging the prescription. If it's a prescription plan, they're not paying $1,000. They're getting a discounted rate, right? You know all that.
Yep.
So I don't know. Farziga sounds like a pasta dish. Ah, Farziga.
Yeah, he's right.
Oh, Moonjaro makes me think of like Jumanji, right?
Yeah, like a.
It's gonna. That's what it's like. Oh, we went. We were in the movie Jumanji, and they went to Moonjaro. Really? And then Farziga was there. Because right, like listen,
They ate Farziga.
they ate Farziga, and then what happened? They brillianted all over the place. It was amazing. I had a little intestinal digestion problems afterwards.
My medicines are boring name.
Yeah, I know, because all your stuff is off patent. I'm on stuff that's still on patent.
Yeah, my stuff's off patent. But even the brand name is boring. Synthroid or Suvistan. Oh wait, maybe that was Lipitor. I can't remember.
What can I tell you, Rachie? What can I tell you? Yes, you have to take. I gotta have my mind exercise. I get so bored, and that's it. I mean, like I'll do exercising. I'll do my.
Well, even our bike has a screen
right
here.
Right, it'll have a virtual.
You can watch TED Talks. You can do a bike ride with
a virtual.
Yeah. I mean, I don't use it. My legs are too short.
Mr. Dunn, my wife is disabled, so she takes all the things. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's part of it, right? I mean, I never thought I'd be in a situation where I take, I don't know, 6, 7, and I say, all right, 6.5 pills in the morning, 3 pills at night, and it's like it blows my mind. It's like that's an old people do that. Oh, first off, I'm 55, so I guess I'm getting older.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting there, but it's part of process. And the way I like the attitude that my heart failure specialist has. And actually, I love both my cardiologists because they're very down to earth, very personable. You can have conversations with them. But my heart failure specialist, his attitude is like, he goes, "Oh, all right. Oh, they put you on Jardiance. Awesome. That protects the heart." I'm like, "Oh, I did some reading on that," and I said to him, "I understand there's some studies where they're looking to actually prescribe Jardiance just for people with heart failure, as opposed to people with type 2." He goes, "You read the articles?" I go,
"Yeah."
I read the articles on all the medications that I take because I want to. And this, folks, by the way, I don't want to get too deep into the mud on this one, but we just spent 2 years where people said, when I say people, the media, don't question the science. Science is meant to be questioned.
Yeah, that's a very muddy.
Okay. So I do. I want to know if you're putting me on medication. I want to know what and Rach is worse than I am. So you get in the light version. Rach will research everything and then some when it comes to medication and medical conditions.
Yes.
I want to know. Hey, did they miss a drug interaction? Because I am on somebody missed a drug interaction. I need to know, right? Because I get prescriptions filled by a local pharmacy and I get prescriptions filled by my mail order pharmacy, and maybe we're not connecting. I'm going to look that shit up. All right. Hey, look, they're doing studies with Mounjaro to see if it can be prescribed for people with heart conditions. Straight out, not for weight loss, which is approved for, not for diabetes, but for heart condition. That makes me feel pretty good that I'm using something as my heart failure specialist say, another layer of protection. Everything is about layers of protection. Let's put you in as much body armor as we can.
Nice.
And I like that idea. I like that concept.
Yeah. But he was able to use the analogy well.
Yes. So for me, part of that putting on that body armor is knowing what I'm putting on, knowing the facts, and doing a little research. And yes, if I can find a peer reviewed article online, I'll read it. Does it mean I'll understand it all? Maybe not, but I'll understand.
You'll get the gist of it.
I'll get the gist of it.
Enough of what it means.
Mm-hmm. So catching up, Mr. Gunn, she has degenerative disc disease.
Okay.
Bad back squared. Jeez. Yeah, youth is wasted on the young. I think of that all the time. My numbers are all good except my cholesterol. It's a bit high. Always has been.
It's a hard one.
My wife is all about researching her stuff. She gets deep into it. I'm the opposite. Give me the pills, doc. I like to be able to. Again, going back to my.
You want to be able to like question whatever you need to question.
Yeah, I'm not looking to cause issues.
Yeah,
but
and knowing, being able to know like your lab ranges in your blood work, and
right?
It's sort of like, okay, well, my TSH is high. What are we gonna do? Because I know that when it's high, because the medication I take for this illness is cumulative, that stuff hasn't been going right for a few weeks, or something might be deeper, or just it's time to titrate up. It's time to have it increase, or going the other way. If the TSH is too low, then it's okay, great, we can reduce some of the medication, but I don't think that's ever going to be possible because my immune system is attacking my thyroid, so it can't produce
what's necessary,
the hormones.
Mr. Gunn, being knowledgeable is her thing. Sometimes the doctors are annoyed because she is so well informed. My heart failure specialist, this is what he told me, and I still carry this because to me it was huge. He's like, you are doing exactly what I would do if I was in your shoes. Yes. And he goes, and he goes, education that is specialized in medicine, that is specialized in cardiology and specialized in heart failure. And he goes, and yet he goes, you're doing what I'm doing, which is not just following your doctor's advice, not just doing the work that has to be put into it, but you're doing your own research, you're confirming, and you're questioning. He goes, it's the exact same thing I would do. And he's like, I couldn't ask for anything more out of a patient.
Yes, to be an active part of their care.
Right. I'm not going to sit here and just say, you give me pills.
It's all on you to fix me, and not be able to be active in it.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Gunn, she asks questions, and some of them don't like that. Well, you have to ask questions. I mean, and it's not that I'm questioning their knowledge, and I'm not threatening their authority.
No,
I want to know because I want to be. I'm going to say I want to be validated, but I want to be part of the process of my health. And if in the part of the process,
they need to know your concern,
right? And they need to know
to be able to work that through, just like any other type of counseling and motivational interviewing that sometimes medical providers, social workers, everybody needs to be able to provide to a client to help them be able to accept different aspects of treatment.
Yeah, Mr. Gunn, Rachel, I have a bad thyroid. If I take levothyroxine,
hey,
there's a high five on the screen for you. So, again, it's like people who just want a pill for weight loss, right? Just give me I don't need to do exercise. You need to participate in all aspects of this. No pill is going to cure your ails on its own. All right, nothing is going to. If I didn't take actions to ensure that I close my exercise ring at least 5 out of 7 days, that's my goal. I get at least 30 minutes of exercise in throughout the day. Always try to close my move has always been closed except for the day I had to update my watch when I got my new phone. Then it crapped out for a while. But I always want to be part of my health because if I'm not an active participant in it, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Exactly. You want to know her actually precisely. She has booted doctors that don't listen. I'm blessed. I swear to God, I am blessed. I have 2 cardiologists, an endocrinologist, and an orthopedist that are spot on. and you can ask questions, and uh, they remember you as an individual. And with my cardiologist, when he comes into the room and he's like, he'll look at my legs like, oh, God, I love these legs. When he first saw me, my legs were like,
oh my God.
He goes, I love these legs. He goes, these legs are beautiful.
Yeah.
And now with me and cholesterol, he wants my LDL to be under 70. Now, normally they say under 100. Well, under 70. Why? Because I have a blockage right here. And Nick's so good, right? So once you already have a blockage and your body's compensated, they don't unblock it because there could be a lot of problems with that. But I do have some smaller blockages in periphery. That's all because of radiation that I had, I don't know, 16, 17 years ago for Hodgkin's. So I need low LDL. Now, do I go crazy going, I watch what I eat. I don't eat foods that are generally unhealthy for you more than once a week or twice. But we do watch what we eat. I avoid a lot of things, very little deep fried stuff. My LDL from my appointment this past Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
Thursday. When did I have the doctor appointment?
Sorry, Wednesday. Yes,
Wednesday.
You had,
Wednesday.
Rutkowski.
Yeah. From that appointment, got my blood test result, 25. I've had it as low as 7. So I'm slacking. But it makes you feel good to know that what you're doing is working. Yeah, pills are part of the cure, but they are not the cure. An active participant is the only way this is going to work. That's just been I've learned that. Okay, you have to be. I also have sleep apnea because I am a fatty. For Rach and I, both of us having lost weight.
That's helped me so much.
With our nighttime breathing, our snoring. Yeah, Mr. Gunn, under 70. I can eat more than vegetables. Now, mind you, I am on. Oh God, what's not a fake name. I'm on 2 cholesterol medications.
Zetia and no, metoprolol is for your to decrease your heart rate.
Wait, again, no.
What is it called?
Atorvastatin.
Atorvastatin.
And
Zetia.
And yes, Zetia. Yeah. So these are 2 things to lower your cholesterol numbers. And the statins you got to take at night because, as I was informed by my visiting nurse when I first got out of the hospital, he was great. Had him for a couple months.
Yeah.
He was like, the reason why you take it at night is because your body produces cholesterol at night. So
he was definitely trying to get us off dairy.
Oh yeah, he was.
Which another friend of mine is trying to get us off dairy.
Yeah, good luck on that one. It's like telling me to get off bacon.
Well.
Yeah. Can you recap the last 20 minutes? No. Sorry, Rob. I have to watch the replay. Did you smoke in the day, Eric? I did not. Rach was a smoker before I met her.
Yeah. I stopped fully in 2013. Like I was stopped for it took me several years to like not smoke on nights out or things like that. And then when I came here, I wasn't smoking at all. I could go like before I came here, I could go like weeks without smoking if I wasn't going into a pub or going out with girls, whatever. But then in 2011 I stopped, and then fully, and then in 2013 I relapsed when my mom passed away and smoked 2 Marlboro Reds, right after my brother and I, held her hands as she left. And he's like, do you want a cigarette? I was like, hell yeah. And they were Marlboro Red 100s because, you had to get your money's worth. And so I smoked these 2 cigarettes back to back, and I couldn't get out of my chair. And then I never smoked again.
God bless. I never smoked. My mother was a smoker when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too.
And
That's where you pick it up.
I
That's
was
good for you. You didn't.
I was so turned off by it.
Mhm.
I used to throw her cigarettes out or hide them. And,
Oh no, you never touched that.
Oh,
you
we threw
you could get hit if you were touching that.
when they were building the corner brick building, Rach.
Yeah.
I threw a carton of cigarettes in the
Oh
rain.
wow.
So yeah, we got in trouble.
You could have sold it at the pub.
I could have gotten my ass kicked for that one. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up here. Yeah, I'm sorry, Rob. I just can't do. I just can't do summaries, man. Just can't do it. Yes, smoking kills. My mother-in-law and my mother both have COPD.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. I was at the towers when the towers came down. There was scarring on my lungs. I learned that again at the same hospitalization because they did.
Mm-hmm.
So, I already have enough going on because of life events that I had no choice over. I don't need to add my own bad decisions into it. So, I'll avoid my own bad decisions. Mr. Gunn, my mother-in-law recently passed from COPD.
Oh.
It's often to not smoke kids. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Gotta run. Shadow, be good. Happy
Take
holidays.
Care.
Yeah, everybody smoked in the 70s. It's true.
Yes.
My father never smoked.
That's good.
Yeah. But,
well, you had one example.
Yeah.
Of someone who didn't smoke. Both of my parents smoked, and then my brother smoked early. My other brother smoked early.
I remember
my sister smoked early. I smoked early.
My mother had to clean the curtain. My mother smoked when she was like a teen.
Yeah.
My mother, I remember her having to clean the curtains every, I don't know, month or two because they got stained from cigarette smoke.
The tobacco gets in.
Yeah.
Yes.
So. My mom, Mr. Gunn, my mom is from North Carolina. They gave ciggies out in preschool. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I think that we may have reached the witching hour. It is after 9:20, 9:22. So we've been doing this for, an hour and 20 plus minutes. So I think we will gently, and wrap this one up. Duke University is built on Siggy blood money. Okay. A lot of things are.
Yeah.
I mean,
from big tobacco, I guess. Yeah.
I mean,
which is now supposed to be harm reduction for smokers.
Yes. Go vape.
Yeah.
So, folks, thank you for all the kind wishes we got. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us on our anniversary.
Yeah,
and sharing it with us. The fact that we, there's changes in our physical community. It's so nice to be able to have our online community close with us today.
Really do appreciate it. If you haven't yet, gamershealth.substack.com. We do a weekly newsletter. Whether it's recipes or whether it's low carb foods you can find in the supermarket, we try to get something up there to be something that you can, use to make some changes. Folks, we're not going to. Thank you, Ken. Great show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gunn, thank you for the happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Folks, listen, the pandemic is now an endemic. Use your common sense. I don't think I need to say more than that. Be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. I will be back again tomorrow with some random gaming vid. Go Jets, go Giants. I'll be watching from my chair right beside here with a couple of beers and some homemade snacks, and maybe we'll have some recipes up tomorrow. That might be fun. All right, folks. We'll catch you later. Thank you so much. And what a patient kitty.